So, I was asked to say a few words about money. As you know, most churches interrupt the service and then they ask for money to support the church. But we're doing something a little different. There's a basket in the community room if anyone wants to donate, and 100% of the donations go to Community First Village, which is in East Austin, and they're doing a terrific job of providing homes for homelessness people, and also a community, which is very important. So with that, Carol Knight will light the chalice. Already have. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. The lighting of the chalice was slightly premature, but consider that I just lit it. Here we go. This morning, our opening words are a poem about water written by Philip Larkin. Let's read it responsibly. I'll read the words in yellow, and we can all read together the words in black. Try to remember.
Blue. White and yellow. Sorry.
We had a slight change of plan. I'm reading my script, not that.
I
Okay.
messed it up. It was supposed to be white and blue, but the blue doesn't show up.
Okay, I'll read the words in white, and we can read the words together, the ones that are in yellow. Okay, try to remember to read them slowly so you have time to really feel what they say. Here we go. Water by Philip Larkin. If I were called in to construct a religion, I should make use of water. Going to church would entail affording to dry different clothes. My litany would employ images of sousing, a furious, devout drench. And I should raise in the east a glass of water where any angled light would congregate endlessly. And now Dagmar will lead a moment of silence for Larry Thompson.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And thank you, Polly, for bringing the picture of Larry, who just recently left us to join the ancestors. And the pain of that is still raw and fresh in our minds. On this picture, he gives a reminder of one of the many public services and charitable things he did in his life, and that is to recycle unused eyeglasses to people who can use them. So in order to honor our friend Larry, we will observe a moment of silence, and we can bring his image up in our mind and in our heart. Thank you all. And now Michael will lead us in the singing of a communal hymn.
sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ply the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue home. I give thanks to the waves upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on. Read the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor song. I was born upon the fathoms, and upon a port I go. Wide rivers is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my new home. Wide rivers is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my new home.
This is an African prayer, and I'll read the words in what looks to me like blue, but I guess it's white. And you read the words in yellow. Okay? Rejoice for the rain that falls by night and soaks at once into the dry ground, causing half-dried up roots to swell, and the deep cracks in the earth to close. Rejoice for the great drops that fall at midday. Rejoice in the small streams singing on their way. From the hills down into the valleys, to make the rivers swell, and the reservoirs to fill. Rejoice for the ground, for rain, for seeds and tools, for strength in arms and backs, for the will to work, and for creating minds. And now Martin Malin will talk to us about religions and sacred water.
Religions and water. These words were written by David Lawrence. As we draw to the end of another increasingly hot, dry Texas summer, the importance of an abundant supply of water, once taken for granted, cannot be denied. No one knows this better than those of us gathered here this morning. We know that Earth is becoming a much more challenging place to live. All that aside, the importance of water goes beyond the basic requirement for life. In most religions, water serves as the foundation for faith-affirming rituals. It's viewed as a symbol of purity, used for cleansing oneself physically and spiritually. Christianity. Most of us have a basic understanding of the importance of water in Christian rituals. Baptism is a sacrament symbolizing new birth and the cleansing of sins. In Christian churches, washing feet is a symbol of humility and service, based on a biblical passage describing Jesus washing the feet of his disciples. Holy water, a symbol of God's protection and blessing, is used during baptisms and the blessing of animals, and has long been used in rituals to cure diseases and heal the sick. Judaism. For millennia, water has been part of the Jewish rituals and practices. For example, the washing of hands before eating, praying, or studying Torah as a way of cleansing oneself physically and spiritually. A lesser-known practice is mikvah, an ancient ritual involving immersion in clear water to achieve ritual purity after menstruation, childbirth, and sexual relations. Now, mikvah is more often used to celebrate moments of joy, to heal after times of sorrow or illness, or to commemorate transitions and changes, like becoming bar or bat mitzvah, the age at which young men and women become responsible for their own actions. Islam. In Islam, another religion that arose in the desert, Muslims show respect for Allah before their 5 daily prayers by cleansing themselves with ritual ablutions of their hands, feet, face, and hair. Like Jews, Muslims were required to bathe after sexual intercourse and childbirth. Zamzam water, holy water with healing powers, is said to have originated from a spring that appeared miraculously when the Prophet Muhammad's mother was searching for water for him. Zoroastrianism. Zoroastrianism, an ancient Persian religion, is based on the profound struggle between good and evil. Zoroastrians believe water is a sacred gift from God that should be protected and used wisely and respectfully. They too wash their hands, arms, face, neck, and feet before prayers and religious ceremonies. Buddhism. The Buddha said water is a precious resource we must use wisely and respectfully. The Mahayana includes a story about a bodhisattva who gave his body to a thirsty bird. That act of compassion was rewarded with a vision of a vast pure lake, a symbol of purity and enlightenment. Today we celebrate our water communion. We recognize the commonality we share with all the great faiths. And now Cynthia Lawrence will describe how the water communion service came into being.
Okay, a bit of information about the water communion history. The water communion is a ritual service common in UU congregations. It's usually held during September after the new school year starts. Some congregations of other religions have also adopted this ritual. For example, a United Methodist service on Earth Day in Austin, Texas included a water communion. The first water communion was held at the November 1980 Women and Religion Continental Convocation of UUs in East Lansing, Michigan. It was created by activist Carolyn McDade and church leader Lucille Longview as a way for women who live far apart to connect the work each was doing locally to the whole. 8 women were asked to bring water from different sources, including rainwater, the Assiniboine River, the Atlantic Ocean, the Rio Grande, and the Pacific Ocean. It has come to be used as an ingathering homecoming ritual for UU congregations and others. The symbolism, like that of the comparable flower communion, can be interpreted in various ways. The classic life-related symbolism is apparent. The rejoining of many waters can also symbolize the rejoining of the congregation after summer travels. McDade and Longview chose this way to honor the journeys of women and to represent the way women both contribute to and draw from each other's strength. And Carol is going to talk to us about our ritual.
Thank you, Sylvia. Water is life. No water is death. It's that simple. We came from water, from that primordial salty soup teeming with microscopic life that after hundreds of millions of years, after eons, that microscopic life became us. Before we're born, we float in water in a salty sea of amniotic fluid. After we're born, 60% of our bodies is salty water. Even our blood is salty, with a bunch of adulterants thrown in to keep us alive, like red blood cells. When we're grief-stricken and when we're overcome with joy, salty tears flow from our eyes. Our lives are steeped in water, in sacred water. This morning we're celebrating all that water and some very particular water with special meaning for each of us. To celebrate your special water, in a minute, please form a line over there. And you can come forward, pour your water in that communal bowl, where that water will become holy water. If you wish, you can come to the microphone and tell us very briefly what your water symbolizes, and then you can return to your seat. If the microphone needs to come to you, we'll bring it to you and we can take your water to the bowl. So, would you like to form a line over there and start bringing your water forward?
My water symbolizes the water of the South Canadian River, the sometimes 4-mile wide rushing river in the spring, sometimes only 100 feet wide, nearly dry in the summer. Dividing line between the Choctaw and the Creek Nation, and the river I grew up on and spent many, many wonderful years as a youth.
Those precious few drops came from my hose this morning. I'm on a half acre and our subdivision just restricted outside watering, and it's gonna kill me. I'm trying to keep my plants alive, and so it's very precious.
We all need to have water so that we will do what we ought.
This water came from the kitchen yonder, and it represents my journey in this place with Wildflower Church and beyond, and now back with our new refreshing fellowship.
This water represents the tears I rarely shed but often need to.
This water represents the water that is created when the glaciers melt and reminds us that the life-giving part of water is just one part of it. There is also the force of water that can be threatening and dangerous. Sorry to pour some cold water on you.
I come from the Texas Panhandle, and I can remember barely the last time it rained.
This water comes from Waller Creek that flows through UT campus. I mapped this river or creek in 1975 for a class, a mapping class, and it brings back a lot of memories for me.
This water came from our new home in Georgetown, where we're enjoying.
I walk in this heat about 1.5 miles down to a place called Legacy Lake, Legacy Park Lake. And my wife makes me take, not makes, but she insists I take a water bottle. And I get down to the lake after 1.5 miles in this heat. I'm sitting there and I'm watching geezers, people my age, use their remote-controlled sailboats. I take a sip of water, and I think so much of gratitude for my wife for insisting that I take the water.
This water represents the water of Aransas Bay, a place that had brought great joy to my husband's family as he was growing up, and it was also the first place that I actually saw the Texas coast. It's the place where there's a pier where Bill Groby asked me to marry him.
No.
And it's the place where we spend our honeymoon, on the beach at Aransas Bay.
This water reminds me of canoeing, which I used to do a lot of, and I used to teach canoeing at a summer camp, and the kids would go on canoe trips.
This water's from my faucet this morning. It represents the miracle of every time I turn that faucet, water comes out. We are so lucky. Thank you.
Well, this water is from where we're living now, Pflugerville, so it's somewhat exotic, but we enjoy it, so thank you.
This water represents the water at Mo Ranch, where I've been on many retreats, family weddings, family campings, and where last year, I believe it is, Martin and I took my mother's ashes and put them just past the dam where they would go into the ocean eventually. So that's that. As I turn off this safety code imitation candle and the light that we started with, let us take the light with us everywhere we go, and let us remember how many other people in the world need that light, and let's share it in whatever way possible. Thank you all for being here this morning. Thank you all for being here this morning. It's just lovely to see everyone. And now there'll be coffee and conversation and some sort of edibles in the community room. See you there. Bye. Thanks for coming.
I gotta go see what the